Well, they announced it. So this morning, Nintendo unveiled their successor to the Nintendo Switch console, named the Nintendo Switch 2, and it looks exactly like rumors said it would. It's a little bit bigger than the Nintendo Switch, and unlike the OLED, it seems that the bezels have returned, and I presume the LCD screen is back as well. But unlike the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2 seems to have a USB-C on the top of the console, which will make charging far more convenient than it ever has been on Nintendo Switch. The Joy-Cons are bigger too. They're boasting beefier buttons, so for larger hands, it'll be a far more comfortable experience. Additionally, the right Joy-Con has a brand new button. At first, I thought it was going to be just the screen capture button, but now on the right Joy-Con. But if you look closely, there's no circular imprint on the button, so it probably serves an entirely new purpose that we don't know about quite yet. However, one thing that I did notice about the Nintendo Switch 2 was the fact that the IR motion cameras seem to be completely missing. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. It was in like, what, 2 games on the Nintendo Switch? 1-2 Switch, Brain Age. Let me know in the comment section below if there are any other Switch games that use this peripheral. Despite the fact that the IR motion cameras are probably gone, the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons seem to have these weird, small little laser sensors, which make them behave like computer mice. That was a theory thrown around about a week or two ago, and it seems to be very true because there's this little sliding animation they do in the trailer, and you can see the little laser sensor on the side of the said Joy-Cons. Speaking of the Joy-Cons, they now use this magnetic system instead of the railing system you found on the original Nintendo Switch. If I remember correctly, they were going to have the magnet system in the original Switch as well, but they couldn't quite figure it out, but it seems that they were able to now. Later in the trailer, we see our first glimpse at Mario Kart 9, or at least it looks like Mario Kart 9, and even though it's always nice to see a new Mario Kart for any Nintendo platform, it really doesn't look like some next-generation Mario Kart or anything. If you told me that this game was running on Wii U, I would believe you. Near the end of the trailer, we learn that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be targeting a 2025 release date, but the month and day are not specified at all. And additionally, and probably my favorite part of the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer, is the fact that we have confirmation that it is backwards compatible with most Switch games. Notice that I say most. There's a little note on the bottom where some Nintendo Switch games will probably not work properly on the Nintendo Switch 2, which strengthens the claim that the IR motion cameras are now gone. So for games like 1-2 Switch and Brain Age, it seems like their IR motion camera minigames will not be able to be played on the Nintendo Switch 2. At the very end of the trailer, we learn that Nintendo is going to have a Nintendo Direct on April the 2nd of 2025, which will probably showcase all of the features for the Nintendo Switch 2, as well as what games we should expect on the platform. Furthermore, they have a hands-on event that will be occurring later in April in 4 locations in the United States, 6 in Europe, 1 in Oceania, and 4 in Asia. And tomorrow afternoon, it seems that the registration will be up, at least for the US locations. Surprisingly though, the Nintendo Switch 2's price was not unveiled at its first look teaser, so we still don't really know what to expect from it. Most people would guess around $400, and a few thought that $500 would be the target price, but the consensus seems to be that $400 is the most reasonable price point for a system like this, because if Nintendo put it at $500, it would be competing with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, and that would be a very bad decision on Nintendo's part if they did price it that steep. So $400 seems a bit reasonable for a handheld with a lot of power, it looks like. I heard that it could run the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine demo from a few years back. We don't know many of the games that are coming on Nintendo Switch 2, but the 2 that we can basically guarantee at this point are, of course, Mario Kart 9, as well as Metroid Prime 4. We saw a trailer for it a few months ago, and it had a 2025 release date. It was technically impressive for Nintendo standards, and I would gander that it's going to be a cross-gen title, much like Breath of the Wild was for the Switch, and Twilight Princess was for the Wii. Now, whether Mario Kart 9 will be a launch title or not, that is up to speculation, because despite the fact that Mario Kart is so popular on Nintendo platforms, it has never been a launch title before. So either Mario Kart 9 is going to break that tradition and it's going to be a launch title for the Switch 2, or it's going to be like every other one and just release a few months afterward, and other games will be the launch titles for the Nintendo Switch 2. But speaking of launch, when will it launch? That is a question that many people have thrown around on the internet. Some think it'll be around the summer season, but if I had to put my money on it, I would say that the fall season is the most appropriate for the Nintendo Switch 2 because the holiday season is there. You'll have your Christmas presents for kids, gifts for others. It just makes a whole lot of sense. Nintendo usually targets a holiday release date, as do even Sony and Microsoft, because it's just smart business practice. What do you think? Do you think it'll release in the summer, fall? Do you think it'll be $400, $500? Or do you think maybe this entire video is completely wrong? Let me know in the comment section below. Until then, see you later.